I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Welcome to Casual Sunday and a new episode of LCJ Live. It's Sunday, October 14, 2018. Are you just waking up right now? Because I pretty much am. I'm still in my sweats, but I'm here because I've been working so crazily much over the last couple days at film festivals, hosting a film festival, going to a bunch of movies, going to events. Lots of stuff has been happening. Thank you so much for joining me here on LCJ Live today. I really appreciate it. We're going to get to the box office in just a second, along with so much else that's going on in the entertainment world. So many movies I got to tell you about, so many events coming up, big stuff on the way. So, stay tuned to us here for LCJ Live as we get you through everything. Let's start with the box office. Your number one movie in America, once again, is Venom. Venom, $35.7 million. Top in the box office. A lot of people thought maybe A Star is Born would actually win the weekend this weekend, but that didn't happen. It is Venom with $35.7. A Star is Born, still a solid second place with $28 million at the box office. But here comes First Man. Here's the thing about First Man. I like this movie very much. It's Damien Chazelle's third movie. He follows it up, Whiplash, La La Land, now First Man. It's the Neil Armstrong story. Ryan Gosling, awards contender, one of the best reviewed movies of the year. I like this movie very much. Only makes $16.5 million. What does that say? Let me point into a couple of things. Number one, the movie is 2 hours and 21 minutes long. Some movie theaters around the country only have the ability to show First Man 3 times a day. That's not good when it comes to making money. You're missing out on showings. Number two, even though this is a different kind of space movie, it's a true story space movie, a grounded space movie, unlike Gravity and The Martian and all them. I think a lot of people are getting sick and tired that every year Hollywood likes to go into space for some reason. And so they may not appreciate this movie as much as some of the other ones. But I think you really should appreciate First Man because it is a very good movie. It is one of the better movies of the year. Ryan Gosling is terrific. A lot going on there. So, yes, you should definitely check out First Man, even though it didn't make a whole lot of money. $16.2 million right on its tail. Goosebumps 2, Haunted Halloween. Jack Black is sort of in this sequel. He's in it towards the end because some of the marketing and promotion in the last week or so saw that Jack Black was in this movie. I think Universal said to Sony, look, with The House with a Clock in Its Walls coming out on September 21, and now this Goosebumps movie just came out a couple days ago, maybe House with a Clock in Its Walls needed to be out for a certain number of days before Goosebumps could start using Jack Black in the marketing for the movie. I really think that's what happened here. So Goosebumps, not nearly as high of an opening weekend as the first Goosebumps from 3 years ago, but right on its tail with First Man, I could easily see Goosebumps overtaking First Man to be in third place for the weekend when the actuals are released tomorrow. I could absolutely see that happening. Bob Hall says, great sweater, LCJ. Thank you, Bob Hall. This is extremely comfortable. This was actually my grandfather's. Extremely comfortable to wear. I love wearing this right now. It is comfy for this Sunday. Hey, Smallfoot in fifth place, $9.3 million. Then Night School with Kevin Hart, another $8 million in sixth. Another new movie that opened up this weekend, Bad Times at the El Royale. Did you see Bad Times at the El Royale? It made $7.2 million to come in seventh. That is not great. Again, another movie that's 2 hours and 20 minutes long. Some theaters can only show it for 3 times a day. You're not going to make as much money if your movie is significantly long. The reviews on this were mixed to positive. I think a lot of critics appreciate the antics it tries to do. Some audiences, it's probably going to develop sort of a cult following. Jeff Bridges seems to be in a lot of movies with cult followings in his career. The House with a Clock in Its Walls in 8th. In 9th, jumping up to 9th, is another very good movie I saw last weekend in New York, The Hate You Give. $1.8 million. It expands nationwide this Friday the 19th. It's going to get a lot of play and it deserves it so. It is a very good movie, The Hate You Give in 9th. And A Simple Favor rounds out your top 10. In limited release, Beautiful Boy, the new Steve Carell, Timothée Chalamet movie, had one of the bigger openings of the year per screen average-wise. $55,000 each on 4 screens for about $220,000. $100,000 at your weekend box office. So Venom #1, then A Star Is Born, First Man and Goosebumps right on their tail, and right on each other's tails, and Bad Times at the Royale significantly lower at the weekend box office. So I've been at a bunch of festivals. At Future Canon, what's going to be the big box office surprise of the season, LCJ? I think Universal hopes The Grinch is going to do really well. I think it could do bigger than a lot of people might think it will. Instant Family might get some attention from the family crowd, the older crowd. That's the Mark Wahlberg, Rose Byrne comedy coming out around Thanksgiving time. Awards-wise and financial-wise put together, Green Book, Viggo Mortensen, Mahershala Ali, also from Universal, out on Thanksgiving. If that's the kind of Audience Choice Award winner, that's that kind of a crowd-pleasing movie, Green Book is going to have a steady play throughout this season. There's no question about that. So I mentioned at the top of the show, I've been seeing a lot of movies over the last few days, and I'll be seeing more over the next several weeks at festivals and at screenings. Future Canon is excited for Green Book. I think it looks very good. So one of the movies I saw on Monday is 22 July. This is the new Paul Greengrass drama about a shooting that took place in Norway that killed dozens of people, I think 77 people, back in 2011. And it's a good movie. I think the middle act isn't as strong as the first act and even towards the end, but Paul Greengrass once again puts you into the center of the action, and there's a really intense open. 22 July is in select theaters. It's actually in a theater in my market of Albany, New York, along with a few others around the country, but mainly it is also streaming on Netflix. Saw First Man, and then went to the Woodstock Film Festival, which is going on right now. It ends today. It started on Wednesday. I went to a movie last night, and I went to a movie on Friday night. The film Friday night is called Then Came You. This is a film that's not out yet. It's actually not coming out till February, but it stars Asia Butterfield, Maisie Williams, Nina Dobrev, Titus Burgess, Ken Jeong, and David Koechner. It's a good cast. And it's this indie romantic comedy, but it also has the cancer element to it. This movie was shot near where I live, Albany, New York, at the Albany International Airport in the summer of 2017. And Albany Airport, got to tell you for everybody in the capital region watching this right now, Albany Airport is in this movie a lot. It's not just, them walking by in one scene and you get a little background logo of Albany Airport. They are in it for a bunch of scenes. I'd say probably, a quarter to a third of this movie takes place at some point inside or on the grounds of the airport. So that's really good. So congrats to Albany Airport on getting in this movie. I like some elements of the movie. I think the second half's a lot better than the first half when it gets a little more dramatic and you get into these characters. I think Maisie Williams is very good. She's an actress, obviously Game of Thrones early man. She's an actress to watch out for with roles in the next several years. Yeah, shout out to Albany, absolutely, for being in this movie. So Then Came You. It just got acquired by a studio called Shout Studios, and it's going to be released on VOD, digital, and select theaters on Valentine's Day. They're going to try to bring couples into the theaters and at home to watch this movie. So look for that Then Came You on Valentine's Day. Last night, I saw another movie called Wildlife. This opens up this coming Friday in select theaters. Jake Gyllenhaal, Carey Mulligan, Ed Oxenbould was the kid in Alexander and the Terrible, No Good, Very Bad, Horrible Day with Steve Carell, and Bill Camp. It's a good cast. I'm going to have my review up hopefully later today, maybe tomorrow at lights-camera-jackson.com. I like some elements of Wildlife. Carey Mulligan has some strong scenes. Jake Gyllenhaal gets a few moments. Ed Oxenbould, the kid, is great throughout the film. Some elements feel a little far-fetched to me, and I'll delve into that a little bit in the review. I don't know if this is going to be a big award season player. If it is, it would be simply for Carey Mulligan, who may get into that 10 or 15 Best Actress list for her performance in this movie, because she's got some strong moments, but I don't know if the film is good enough to legitimize her to be in a top 5 Best Actress scenario. So, saw that movie last night. Tonight, I'll be at the Woodstock Film Festival for A Private War. This stars Rosamund Pike, who is also looking to get back in the Best Actress conversation, along with Stanley Tucci. And the director of the movie, Matthew Heineman, who's been an Oscar nominee before, will be there. At Shane Mendez says the great Carey Mulligan. Yeah, she's very good in this. She was great in The Great Gatsby as well from a few years back. I do think Carey Mulligan is a good performance. Again, I don't know if it's going to get a nomination, but it's a good performance. So Wildlife opens up this Friday in select theaters, and I'll be seeing A Private War tonight. That doesn't come out until November the 2nd. So I've been at the Woodstock Film Festival. Also yesterday, I hosted the 15 Minutes Max Student Film Festival at the College of St. Rose yesterday, and that was terrific. This is my 3rd year doing it, 7th year of the festival. Shout out to everybody working on the festival, including Liz Richards, Sam Lund, everybody working on the festival. We had 11 short films from 16 filmmakers in the upstate New York area, colleges and high school students who made these movies. There were 80 submissions, 11 got chosen, with 16 filmmakers directing the 11 films, ranging from comedy to drama, animation, and some poignant documentaries. And they were all very good, and a lot of the filmmakers were there, and the big winners were there as well for the first prize in the Audience Choice Award. So very happy with how yesterday's 15 Minutes Max Film Festival turned out. You want to see some highlights of that? Go onto my social media, especially Instagram at LightsCamJackson is my pick of all the winners. Bob Hall wants to know, you're so busy all the time, Jackson. How do you do it? That is a great question, Bob Hall. How do I do it? I just keep on rolling. We go from one thing to the next to the next. I'm fortunate enough to be able to squeeze in this LCJ Live this weekend. There's so much going on. But yeah, just got to keep rolling. Life is a journey. I tell people every day of my life is different than the one that came before it. It's crazy, but I'm having a blast. Also last night, I was at the Malta Drive-In, because the Malta Drive-In did this really fun thing for the first time ever called Trunk or Treat. What they did is they invited all, families to come with their cars, and the kids could dress up in costume, and you could decorate your trunk however you'd like it to be, all Halloween themed, have some candy out, and the kids and the parents would walk all around to the different cars before the movie started and get candy. I heard a mother say to her son, or a woman say to her son, isn't this better than going to houses? And the kids said yes. Really fun. Lots of games, everybody in costume, everybody was in a really positive, great mood. So congrats to Ed and everybody at the Malta Drive-In. They showed Goosebumps 2 and then Smallfoot last night as the double feature for families. Huge crowd, really successful. First time they've ever done this, and I think they're going to do it again next year and every year. Congratulations to the Malta Drive-In. Trunk or Treat. Other drive-ins around the country have done this. The Malta is now getting underway, and maybe others in the capital region and others around the country will be doing that in the years to come. You're just joining us here on LCJ Live. So much going on. Big animated movies new on DVD. Hotel Transylvania 3. Now notice when I hold this up, and I thank Sony Pictures Animation for sending me this copy, Hotel T3 is number 1 on iTunes, and it is big on DVD right now. Notice Summer Vacation is not listed here. Obviously, this movie came out in July. They called it Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation. I asked the producer, Michelle Murdaca, why they inserted that title in. They thought it was very timely and appropriate. But when you release a movie on DVD in October, it's no longer summertime. So it does just say Hotel Transylvania 3. But hey, you get a cruise and you get the summertime feel any time of year. So Hotel Transylvania 3, thank you to my friends at Sony Animation. They were terrific in sending this, and terrific with me getting to go to Comic-Con last weekend to see the Spider-Man panel presentation of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the new animated movie coming out in December. I've got my friend Edgar E. Gore here, by the way, from one of my favorite animated movies in recent years, Frankenweenie, because Halloween is right around the corner. And speaking of Halloween, the new Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis opens up on Thursday night. How big will it do next weekend? It's going to be the number 1 movie. There's no question about it. But how big can this go? We talking 50 million, 60 million, 70 million? It's been 40 years since the original Halloween. What is going to happen? Huge numbers are expected. It's the only major movie opening up next weekend. Other movies stayed away from it, decided to change the release dates because they knew that Halloween was going to be a monster, and it is. I'm going to be seeing Halloween. I'll have my review for that later this week. Also, the Film Columbia Festival kicks off next Sunday. So when we come back here next Sunday at noon Eastern for another LCJ Live, I will preview some of the big movies coming to the Film Columbia Festival, including Melissa McCarthy's Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Viola Davis, and a bunch of others in Widows. Plus, we'll predict what the Saturday night sneak could be. I usually guess it every year. It's not as easy for me to try to figure it out this year as in the past, and I'll explain why next Sunday. Tomorrow, really important, the Broadcast Film Critics Association's Critics' Choice Documentary Awards nominations will be announced tomorrow. this has been a huge year for documentaries. Not just with Won't You Be My Neighbor, but so many others that have been released over the last 6, 8, 10 months. And so the nominations are coming out tomorrow. I will have a chance to vote for the winners for the Critics' Choice Documentary Awards. A select panel determines the nominees, so they'll be released tomorrow. I'll be putting all of that out at lights-camera-jackson.com and all over social media. That's Twitter at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson, YouTube, Lights Camera Jackson, all kinds of stuff will be on social media for the Critics' Choice Documentary Awards. Shane Mendez thinks $66.6 million for Halloween. Yeah, we'll see if Lionsgate decides to do that. So we got Critics' Choice Documentary Awards nominations tomorrow. I'll have my wildlife and a private war reviews coming up in the next day to day and a half. And just keep it to social media all this week for more, including my review of Halloween. Thank you so much for watching today's new episode of LCJ Live. If you are watching this on YouTube, subscribe here, watch the latest video here, and I will see you next Sunday at noon Eastern for another episode of LCJ Live. Bye-bye, everybody.